What's up, y'all? It's Silent, back with some more information. Uh, Peace to the ladies out here. You know, that Queen of Heaven and Earth, Isis, mother. Um, yeah, basically, it's some things, some information that I have been gathering to teach about certain things. So basically, you have people that still lost and still don't know um, how to ascend and how this shit work and what you have to do. The biggest point about this shit is changing your perception of reality. So you have a physical state and then you have a spiritual state or a etheric state. Your etheric state is a out of the body state. So basically, consciously, you are out of the body while still being in your body. So you're able to see different things in different spectrums of certain shit that you ain't never really realized before. So you able to see far beyond what you have been told your whole reality. Okay, so let's take in to question the Star of David. The Star of David, like I had told you before, it represents air and water, right? The water is representing the physical plane, and the air is representing the etheric plane because the water is a part of the earth. So you have to change your thought process and your perception from a physical state, from thinking that you are the body, into a etheric state, which is outside of the body. That's all that's representing. Because the air is also a masculine element. The air is representing the father line, which will be the Blue Lodge, right? But the air is also a cane flip off the two, bouncing off the five, which is the right hand off the mother line, right? And also, the cane is a representation of the woman's clitoris in the uterus, in the womb at the same time. So if you flip a cane to where it can represent a feminine state, then it will represent the feminine state. But if you flip it to where it could represent a masculine state, it could represent a masculine state because if you look at a diagram of a clitoris and a penis, they look the same way. So if you turn it from a different degree to a masculine state, it could represent uh a masculine energy because if you look at a clitoris and you look at a penis, it's really no difference. All right, now back to what I was talking about the Star of David. Air and water transforming from a physical state to a etheric state. You have to get out of the body because the body is not you. This shit you see here, me with this do rag on my shit, this is not me. Yeah, it may sound like some weird shit or some square shit, but it's just what it is. You are not the body. Because even for me to realize it, I had to study. I couldn't just go off of what other motherfuckers were saying. I had to study it. And now that I have the information, the proper information, I understand that I'm not this body. Right? So when you seeing the Star of David, that's what that's representing. Now that little jewel in the middle of the Star of David is representing the dopamine in the brain. The dopamine is responsible for what makes you feel happy, right? Or motivated. That's what the dopamine is for, right? This is why when you smoke some weed, when you smoke some of that herb, that grass, sometimes you get certain motherfuckers that start talking about certain shit that they don't normally talk about. Now we know that weed comes from the cosmos, the Canis Majors, which is a constellation in the universe, right? So the energy from the weed can target the brain, the dopamine in the brain, which will allow certain energies to align to where this motherfucker may start developing a sense of information to where he start to, talk about certain shit he never really talked about. That's because of the dopamine, right? And most of that has to do with the mitochondrial DNA as well, right? So, um, that's what you're talking about when you're talking about the Star of David, air and water, and then the jewel in the middle is representing um, the dopamine, because the jewel in the middle is also a contribution of your heart. Your heart, the energy comes in through the heart and then it transports to the brain, right? Because your heart energy is the most powerful energy on the planet because that's the love energy. That's that mitochondria. If you understand your brain is basically your heart. So the brain and the heart has a energetic alignment with each other. Also, like I have said before, your heart is structured to the right side of your body. The reason why your heart is structured to the right side of your body is because the right part of your brain is feminine, right? So that means the energy that comes into the heart goes directly to the feminine brain. And then the left part of the brain, which is masculine, has to make the sense of the information that's being transported uh, onto the left hand and bounce it onto the right to make sense of both. And then that's when you produce the information when your shit makes sense of it and understand how to digest it properly. That's what happens, right? So you transforming your perception um of reality uh is what plays a major role in how you are seeing. Cause a lot of people out here tell you certain shit, but they don't really tell you the way you supposed to know. I'm talking about certain people that you know, ain't really into this shit. Just some people that claim they spiritual, but they really ain't, really ain't tapped in and shit, and really don't know nothing like that. That's what I'm talking about. You know, because the biggest thing about this shit is understanding who you are and understanding how shit work. Okay, so for me, I'm a earth element. Me being an earth element, I have to be able to study and understand the physical plane. So I'm here to study earth and understand what earth is and then transmute it into a cosmic state to make sense of both. Because the physical plane, the earth is nothing but a reflection of the cosmos. That's what the whole as above, so below thing is. As above, so below. So, what if below is really above, and what if above is really below? It's the same shit if you think about it. You know, you just have to make sense and awareness out the two and understand what's going on. You know, because when you make sense of what's going on and how it works, then you'll know who you is. Because I know who I am on the land by me being the earth element and where I come from. I'm what they would call Osceola, Chief Osceola. That's who I am. And my element is earth. So that means I have to study earth, understand what it is, and then transmute it. That's what it is. Because a lot of people just really don't understand how this shit work. And when you don't understand something enough, you become a guesser. You start to guess what, you know, something is and how you should handle it, rather than realizing what needs to be done. You know, um, yeah, that's what uh, that's what you got to do. Got to do on that point. Um, and morally, what you have to do, you have to study elements and study alchemy, shit like that, to understand how all this shit come together. Because understanding um how all this shit come together, you'll be able to know that by studying and getting in tune with all that alchemy shit, and realizing what you're seeing. You know, because you know it's important when you're talking about this type of shit. But there's some information that was building up in me that I had to come over here and give out because it was, and since it was like bothering me, so I had to speak on this shit and give you the understanding and the knowing of what's going on. you know, because um morally a lot of people don't want to let go of this physical shit. This physical shit has become the new normal. We think that people are regular humans because they can do human shit. But what is being a human? What does a human really stand for? What is a human really supposed to do? This is a spiritual planet. We are considered to be spiritual beings, right? But a spiritual being can't be no human. A spiritual being got to be something else than a human. So that's why I'm looking at the factor of looking at certain motherfuckers and I'm realizing that a lot of people don't get this shit. And they don't really know who they are and what's really, going on. Because the system is slowly crashing down. A lot of shit is starting to close. A lot of shit ain't running the way it used to. So it's gonna have to take a motherfucker that's spiritually minded and aware of their own spiritual existence, uh, in order to be able to deal with what's coming. You know, motherfuckers that still uh going down the rabbit hole, and you going down the rabbit hole that is what keeping you where you at. Everybody in their head, you got to get out your head. You're not better than nobody. I don't give a fuck what you say, how you feel. I don't give a fuck if you got the wettest pussy on the planet. You ain't better than nobody. I don't give a fuck if you think you the toughest nigga, the toughest killer. That don't nigga ain't you're not better than nobody. You're not invisible. You can be beat. You can get hurt. Some motherfucker could do something to you. Nobody invisible. Nobody. But niggas being in their head and thinking they better than somebody and still trying to, be on a get rich quick scheme, all that old bullshit, motherfuckers can't get nowhere. They can't. Cause they still trying to be on their bullshit, on their dumb shit. Cause at the end of the day, it ain't about the adults no more. It's about the kids. What is you gonna do for your child to have a better future and to live better than the way you had to live? When is you gonna get out your own way? There's gonna have to be a time to where you gonna have to get out your own way and be like, all right, I gotta change the way I think. But it's gonna have to take you to do that. But all that being disrespectful and you know dissing motherfuckers, when niggas be out here dissing each other, that shit ain't gonna get you nowhere. That shit gonna get you killed. Cause then by us being in tour with each other, our kids can grow up and be the same way with each other. So that Your opposition kid see your op son outside, they may want to get down on them just because y'all was into it when y'all was younger. And that ain't how this shit supposed to be. We all supposed to be together. We all supposed to be one. We all supposed to be making a solid solution for our kids to be able to grow up and do what they want to do without having to feel like they have to do certain shit and be a certain way to live in this society. Because, like I talked about, calling a nigga a square, right? Square motherfuckers, right? A nigga that's a square is a nigga that ain't, ain't in tune to shit, think the world is all perfect, he ha ha smiling, like, think the world perfect, a smiling motherfucker, like niggas in the league, like a nigga like Steph Curry, he smiled a lot. You would call, a nigga like Curry a square because he smiled too much. He think everything, all fun and all that old shit, right? You'll call him a square. And most of that can be true because, like I said, square motherfuckers, they think everything perfect, everything's the way it is supposed to be, and they believe in the system. Right. Check it out though. If we gonna say that, then how can you not call a nigga a square for eating at McDonald's or eating at Burger King? Because all that shit is a part of the system. Right, so you say you ain't a square because you don't believe in the system and you saying fuck 12, all that old shit, and you don't, believe in certain shit that you told, but you still believing in the system because you giving your money to the system. So in the system, nigga, you ain't really no different from this other motherfucker that smile too much and that believe that everything is the way it should be. You ain't no different if you think about it. Think about it. I'm just keeping it 100. Because by us going to these restaurants, spending money with these certain corporations, we still giving into the system because the system is we created all this shit. So you all in your head thinking, "Oh, I'm real, I'm ooh, I'm all this other shit." You still doing certain shit that every other motherfucker doing. You just don't see it because you too into yourself. You don't see it. That's it. Get out your head, get out your mind. You ain't better than nobody. Get out your shit. Get out your head, man. We so fucked up, we don't even realize that the culture is fucked up because us living in the inner city, right, is pitting us in a place to where we have nothing. Everybody think living in the inner city is what you need to do. Nah, you don't need to be in the inner city. You need to be in the country. You need to be down south. You need to be around land because being around land, you have resources. You find a pond of water, you go get that water, put that on some, put that on some wood, have that burning shit. You can have you some water boiling because boiling the water, that's gonna get all the germs out, so you'll be able to use water. It's little shit like that that motherfuckers don't even realize. Being off the grid and being away from this inner city shit, you have more resources when you out of this inner city. All that chicken that they producing in these KFCs and Chick-fil-A's and in these stores, shit, that them chickens could be shit alive. We could be using them chickens shit to feed a whole motherfucking family, a whole clan. But nah, they put them in these motherfucking restaurants. And most of the time they be shooting these motherfucking chickens up with all type of different testosterones and all that old shit to make them bigger. You know, it's a solution that can be uh granted, but niggas got, like I said, get out your head, get out yourself, get out that ego, cause your ego ain't shit. There's nothing wrong with loving yourself and believing in yourself and having confidence. There's nothing wrong with that, but don't get to the point to where you look down upon motherfuckers because you may know more or you may have more. That's where you fool yourself. That's what you don't do. Because the smartest motherfuckers on the planet is the dumbest motherfuckers. The dumbest. If you are not able to control your emotions and to control the way you feel, nigga, you a dumb motherfucker. You're not smart. So we got motherfuckers out here that got all these degrees and oh, I'm smart and all that else shit, but they can't control themselves. They can't control their own mind. They can't control their feelings. They always have to react rather than using their mind and learning how to let certain shit play its course. You know, you got, people like that, that be too in themselves and do all this bullshit, you know, because they think they better than somebody and they ain't the way you need to be. That shit don't matter. I don't give a fuck about who look like what, who got the most money. I don't, like I told you before, I don't give a fuck about that money shit. That shit don't do nothing for me. I'm more focused on what I'm doing, what I've been doing off this camera shit. Knowing more of who I am and knowing our culture and knowing what needs to be done. Because some of these figures that you read about in the Egyptian culture, some of them is down here right now. Shit, you may be one of them. Everything is repeating itself. We always been what we always been. Like I said before, the woman has always been the ruler. She always been at the top. You can't be no sucker. You can't be no bitch made ass nigga. You can't be no pussy. You can't be that because that shit ain't gonna work. Niggas out here getting their nails done. Hold on real quick. Yeah, but like I was saying, uh, like I was saying, um, um, about this situation, um, we in, and getting out your head, um, and doing what you gotta do. You know, you know. Um, yeah. So as a message, I need to go ball. I done said enough little shit. I done chopped up some game. And yeah, it's, what's my name on Silent? I almost forgot my shit. It's Silent. Sign up this motherfucker, y'all. Y'all be good out here. Peace.